Yeah, that's as far as the penalty amount goes. That's why I was pointing out the primary insurance amount at the beginning of this conversation. So you can think of that as 100% of what Social Security owes you when you either turn 67, because that's your full retirement,
Right.
or you become disabled and you get approved for disability, SSDI. That would be 100% of what they owe you, basically, is what you can think of that. You work and you pay into the system, and then those are the ways to get 100% of that benefit. If you take early retirement starting at 62, it's not 100%. At 62, it's 70%, and then every year after that, it starts working its way up. So
Okay.
if you take early retirement at 62, you only get 70% of what would be your full retirement, or what would be your SSDI amount. At 63, then it goes to 75, and then at 64, I think it goes to 80, and eventually it'll get to the point where if you're 66, you're 1 year off. It's really close. It's like 93%.
Right.
So how worth it is for you will largely depend on that,
At the
is
age, yeah.
because you might be looking at a 30% reduction, which is substantial. You might be looking at a 6% reduction, which is not substantial. And the only real risk, and I try to make a point to not scare people with this. I'm just trying to be honest. There is when people are applying for disability for SSDI and they ask, should I apply for early retirement? If you apply for early retirement and you get approved for early retirement, say you're 62,
You're locked in.
worst case scenario, if they deny your SSDI case, you're not, it's not going to go up. A lot of people think that you take early retirement and then you get to full retirement and no, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
If you take early retirement at 62, so you're getting 70% of your benefit,
That's your benefit.
it's not going up.
Right.
The only way it goes up is if you get approved for SSDI, because then it'll just go up to 100%. So that's the only kind of thing I would caution people about is, technically speaking, if you, worst case scenario, if we're taking your case and you're over 60, we're pretty confident we can win the case. But worst case scenario, if you get denied, you will be locked into that lower amount.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, again, when people ask me about, well, should I do this? And I'm rarely going to say yes or no, because everybody's circumstances are different. And we've talked about this. For example, if somebody was destitute, okay, they've already been kicked out of their house, they're staying with a friend, and they get a letter from their local employment security office that, do you wish to apply for, unemployment? And you're like, well, I didn't know I could apply for unemployment. I've been gone for 6 months. But yeah, and you apply for it, and you're trying to draw disability too. And we've talked about that. You have to tell the state that you're ready and willing to work, and then you tell the Social Security Administration that you're unable to do any kind of work. That causes a problem. And people will ask me, well, do you recommend me to take the unemployment benefits? I'm not going to recommend anything. Your situation, if it's basically, I'm going to have to work out these seemingly contradicting statements that I've made, ready and willing to the state, unable to do anything to Social Security. If you're willing to kind of work that out and explain it to Social Security if it comes up, and it usually will, okay, but I'm not going to tell you, yeah, you got to do this. Oh no, you shouldn't do that. Certainly, if something as dire as being able to put food on the table is hanging in the balance.
Yeah.
I am a Social Security disability rep. That's what I do. I'm not a case manager. I'm not a case worker. I'm not a therapist. I can recommend a lot of really smart things for you in your disability case, but things that might affect your life. Should I go see this doctor? I don't know. It's, you need to be in treatment, but I'm not going to say you need to see this doctor.
Or take this medication or get this treatment.
Will this hurt my case? Could possibly. May not. You got to do what's best for you. And as long as it's not an ethical violation, do what's best for you. I can certainly advise you on some of those types of things, ethical things, and playing by the rules again. But I'm not going to advise you on whether you should take early retirement benefits or not. I'm just going to I'm going to give you the facts, and then you make the decision. And we get that sometimes. Well, Mr. Groves, I want you guys to take my case. I'm 63. I have not applied for early retirement, but they told me that it's automatic. Well, it is automatic. You don't have to prove that you're 63. You have to prove you're disabled. Don't have to prove you're 63. Or else they already know that you're 63.
You do have to
Yeah,
prove
you
it,
had to
but
prove
it
it.
doesn't.
Yeah,
It doesn't take very long.
it's not an argument.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am. There is. I wish disability was that easy, but yeah. So I'm 63, and should I sign with you guys, or should I take early retirement, or should I try to do both? I'm not going to tell you yes or no. I'll give you the facts. If you apply for early retirement right now, you've got a reduced amount. If you win your disability case, and there's no guarantee that you will win your disability case, but if you win your disability case, this is what your monthly benefit would be. It's going to be higher. It would be in your best interest in a basically black and white, all things considered. This much money is more than this much money way. But I don't know what your circumstances right now. If you have nothing, if you're facing foreclosure, if you're having a hard time, scrounging up, food every month, and you're having to, beg your family or church services or social services for something, and early retirement is literally, I'm 63, and they give it to you. Who am I to say, oh, no, 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 no. If you wait and let me get you on disability, I'm not going to do that. So, there are going to be some gray areas, and I know a lot of people who are watching this are like, well, I really need an answer. And sometimes maybe is the best answer I can give you, because saying no, you need to wait. I'm not you. I don't know what kind of hardship that's going to cause you now, or in the long run. All I can do is say that here are the facts. You'll get more money if you apply for disability, but if you wait, and you've got bills coming in now, or you've got things that you can't do because you have no money, it might be in your best interest to go ahead and take that. But I rarely will make that advice to you. Here are the facts. Here's what you need to weigh. Do it intelligently. Certainly if you're married, talk to your spouse about it, and then make a great decision, and then call us if you need us.
If you have a question about your disability case, give us a call at 615-453-9151 Monday through Friday, or click the link in the description of this video.